Hey guys, I want to thank you all for joining us today for our live Q&A session with our current students here at Arkansas Tech University Graduate College. Thanks for hanging out and joining us. We had a few technical difficulties getting started. So glad y'all are here with us now to learn more about Arkansas Tech and what it's like to be a graduate student here. So my name is Caitlin Beard. I'm the Graduate Admissions Officer here at Tech. I'm going to let our few panelists join us that are current students here. And we're going to be drawing for a free application fee waiver that's worth $40. So go ahead and drop your email in the chat. So that way at the end we can draw. You will need to be here at the end to receive the application fee waiver. So go ahead and drop that and then hang out with us throughout the entire presentation. If you have any questions as we're going along, make sure that you send those in the chat here on Facebook, and we'll answer those towards the end of our session. So I'll go ahead and let our panelists introduce themselves, and then we can get started.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joellen Detra. I'm a part of the Student Affairs Administration graduate program here at Arkansas Tech. I'm originally from Bryant, Arkansas, but I now currently live in Russellville, Arkansas. I will be graduating with my graduate degree in May of 2021. I also went to Tech for my undergraduate degree in agriculture business. I am currently the record management analyst for TRIO Student Support Services at Arkansas Tech, but formerly, only like a month ago, I was a GA for the Student Affairs Administration Department, teaching a few of the Tech and CSP 1013 courses to first-year students.
Taylor Faye. And I'm originally from Clarksville, but I'm currently living here in Russellville. I got my undergrad degree here at ATU, and I'm in the MBA program here with a concentration in business data analytics. I should be graduating in May of 2021. And as far as work goes, I'm currently a graduate assistant for the College of Business. I'm a student worker for the Office of Assessment and Institutional Effectiveness, and I'm also involved in the Graduate Student Council.
Hi, I'm Leslie Riley and from Oologah, Oklahoma. I attended undergraduate at the University of Oklahoma, and I have a degree in humanities and a degree in chemistry. I am enrolled at ATU in the Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages, the TESOL program, and I'll graduate in May of next year. And I currently work as an English as a foreign language teacher.
Great, thanks y'all. So my first question for you guys is, why did you choose ATU in the program that you're in? I'll start with Leslie.
Yeah, I started as an English as a foreign language teacher. You don't have to have a teaching degree to do this. But once I started this job and realized that it was something that I loved doing, I was really passionate about, I knew I wanted to take it to the next step. So I started researching TESOL programs, and I was really impressed with the range of class choices that ATU has to offer. They were very applicable to what I was already doing. I also knew I needed something that was going to be flexible and that I could fit around my schedule. I have 3 kids, and just working as well as doing everything that comes along with having 3 kids, like you need something that's really flexible. Another thing that made me choose ATU is they offered me in-state tuition. And since I was going to be paying for my master's out of my pocket, it really had to be affordable. So ATU just really ticked all of those boxes for me.
So like I said earlier, I did get my undergrad at Arkansas Tech. So I was an ag business major, and I kind of had a midlife crisis, if you will, of not knowing what I wanted to do my senior year with agriculture business. And I was working for TRIO Student Support Services on campus at the time. And my advisors here were like, well, do you like to work on campus? Do you like the work that you do with this on-campus job? And I loved it. And so I was like, yes. And they told me about the Student Affairs Administration degree. And so I kind of did it because I didn't know this was a degree you could get anyways. And so once I realized I could get this degree, it was something I was more passionate about than agriculture business. I jumped right on it, and I loved that there wasn't any like entrance exams. Any undergrad background can go into student affairs administration. So I loved that part of it. It was an easy transition, and of course it was at Tech, so I loved it.
Great, thanks. So y'all are all in your second year of graduate school here at Tech. Can you just share what the difference is between your undergrad program or your undergrad experience and your graduate studies now?
So for me, my undergrad, I basically did all face-to-face classes. That was something that I liked, but the MBA program here is all online, which is very nice for people who are working and they want to come back to school and finish that degree. But I did have to learn how to more self-manage myself, be able to set up a schedule and stick to it instead of having to rely on those classes to kind of build that schedule. But it was nice. I've been adjusting to it very well.
One of the biggest differences in your undergraduate and your graduate program is that whenever you choose your graduate program, it's so much more focused on what you really are interested in. You're not having to take, these prerequisites or anything like that. You're really just jumping right into what you want to learn about. So I think that was the biggest difference for me.
So like I said, I did do my undergrad here, and I did everything face-to-face with the exception of a few classes online during undergrad. I also taking mostly face-to-face courses in grad school as well. So there's not a whole lot of difference for me in regards to classes and stuff like that. There are smaller class sizes and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's pretty much similar. One of the biggest things that I appreciated being similar from undergrad to grad was the open door policy that our professors had. I loved that in undergrad, how you could just walk down the hall. If a professor's door was open, you could just go in and ask a question. They do have set office hours, but they still, in the meantime, if they were available, they would just keep their door open. And I loved that our graduate professors also do that as well. They're really accessible. They're there for you if you have questions. And as long as their door's open in normal times, you can just go in and ask a question without having to schedule an appointment necessarily.
And so my next question for you guys is, it sounds like, your classes in graduate school are a little bit different than undergrad, but of course your professors are just as helpful as they were when you were an undergraduate student. And so what exactly are your classes like? What can students expect when they do enroll here at Tech? And, what is that relationship like with your advisor and other professors in your program?
So for me, like I said, the MBA program is fully online, but since I did get my undergraduate here, I kind of knew most of the professors anyway. And like Joellen said, they're pretty open. If you have a question, you're always welcomed in their office. They're going to try to answer it as much as they can. And then for my advisor, he is great. His name is Dr. Huang. He is very nice. If I have had any questions about the like applying and getting into different classes, he's always there and available. And I guess my favorite class, since I am in the BDA concentration, but my favorite class so far has been our digital marketing class. And I really like that because along with learning about marketing on like social media and Google, we also got to take the Google Analytics class. So I did get a little bit of analytics training there, and I got to earn a certificate saying that I passed that course and I at least know the basics of the Google Analytics.
That's cool. And for you, Leslie, if you'd like to share.
Sure. You asked what the classes were like, and the classes are very practical. I took a class over the summer. Every school has to have an ESL coordinator by law, whether you have ESL students or not. And so the course over the summer, the professor, she really impressed me. The amount of ESL students that she has in her district is huge. And so for our final project, we had to go through a grant writing application. And she walked us through the whole thing and, really gave us a lot of feedback. And I really appreciated that because coming from a smaller district, I don't have anyone who I would be able to ask those kinds of questions. And that's not really a situation that I would run into until I moved on to a bigger district. So I really was impressed with that experience.
Thanks for sharing that, guys. And so we've talked a little bit about your programs and just what those classes are like, but what do you guys do as graduate students outside of class, and how have you went about, making friends? I know it's a little bit different than undergrad, but making friends and connections on campus and within your program.
So when I was a GA, and which was only about a month ago, but when I was a GA, I also did work part-time at a retail store around here. And so I appreciated the ability to balance and the support that my professors gave me. I made sure that they knew upfront, hey, I work a GA-ship and I also work part-time and I am going to school full-time. And so they were very supportive and understanding of juggling all of that. And it is doable. If you want to pay for school and you don't want to take out loans, it is doable to get multiple, to get a GA-ship and do part-time. It's super easy to juggle. Just make sure you include your professors in it and just make sure that they know, and they'll definitely be understanding of that. As for Russellville, I love the small town feel that Russellville has. Even though we have a pretty big college here in this town, it still feels small town, and the people here are really nice. I love the parks and recreation that Russellville offers, and there's tons. There we have Mount Nebo, Petit Jean, and there's a ton of just walking trails around campus. Even through campus, we have walking trails, which I love and appreciate. So that's what I love about the area.
So for me, it is harder to make friends within my classes since they are all online. But I mean, we do have discussion boards, so you kind of get to know the people that are in each class. The College of Business also offers a lot of career connection events. So they'll have different employers come in and the students can go talk to them. We can give them our resumes and kind of get a feel if we like the company or not. And that's definitely a great way to make those business connections that you need. I've been able to make friends since I am still doing a graduate assistantship on campus. Like I said before, I'm involved in the student council, so I've made a lot of connections with people outside of my program. That's been good. And even within the college, I've met a few of the other people that are in the program.
Okay, and so it's going to be my last question for you guys, and then we can answer some additional questions from the chat or anything else. So since all of you guys are graduating in May, what are your future plans, and how has the program that you're enrolled in Arkansas Tech as well, just the university as a whole, help prepare you for that next step?
My goal is to work in a more urban area that has a larger ESL student base. And like I mentioned, all of the classes that were offered, they're real practical lessons that I use every day in my classroom now as an EFL teacher, and that I'll use in the future. So my goal is to be working in a more urban area, and then farther down the line, whenever travel kind of resumes, is to do like a short-term contract overseas. And having a master's in TESOL really puts me at the top of the list for the most desirable overseas teaching contracts. So I'm thankful for that.
So for me, I'm hoping to find a company that I like and that I feel I connect with. I have met several companies through the career connection events that the college has put on. And so that's definitely been really helpful. You get to meet some of the actual employers that are there. As far as the program, they do good in making sure that it's a broad subject, because with BDA, there's a lot of different types of data and stuff that you work with. It's not just one set subject. So they've done really good in making sure that we've worked with different types of analytics software, making sure that we know the basics in each thing that should help us whenever we find a job with a company.
So like I said, I did just accept a position full-time with TRIO Student Support Services on the ATU campus before graduating with my master's. So I'm so grateful for that. And it's because of the connections I made in undergrad and even during grad school that I got this position. But hopefully in the future, I will be able to put my master's into even more use and move up within the TRIO program because I do love the TRIO program here on campus.
Great. Thanks for sharing, guys. And so now we're going to answer some questions from the chat. I'm going to have Meredith Lawson, our Associate Director for Recruitment, read those out, and then either I or the panelists will answer the questions depending on who can answer it best.
Okay, so our first question is regarding our doctoral program. So she's asking if the doctoral program is organized and what kind of level, or is the level of support adequate for this program? So Caitlin, that's probably going to be something you can help with.
Yeah, so our EDD program, I think it's very organized. Dr. Freeman, the program director, the application is the same every year. The deadline is always the March 31st. You're always going to hear back from him. The system is very, in order. The classes are great for that program because you are in a cohort. They typically admit about 15 students per each cohort. And so you really get to know those people within your program. You're in the same classes every time, you will meet, when you're supposed to meet, either online or whatever that may be with those cohort members. And so it's really great that entire time that you're with them. But, I can drop Dr. Freeman's information in the chat if you have some more questions for him, or even we can talk later about it and give you some more information if you'd like.
Okay, so our next question is, do you feel like the online program format is easy to use? So that'd be really great for Sydney and Leslie, who are taking predominantly online, or I guess exclusively online classes, to speak about.
Yeah, actually, I found it to be very easy to use. I haven't used the particular layout ATU was using previously. So for me, I was with it being brand new, but I found it really easy to go through, and everything's very organized. I also found that my professors made it a habit to email us and really keep in communication with us every week and just say, hey, by the way, this is due this week and this is due this week. So not only was it easy to use, but you do have the support of your professors behind you for those online courses.
Yeah, I would say I agree definitely with a lot with what Leslie had to say. For me, my professors, if there's a lecture involved, we usually have a folder for each week, what our assignments are. It's very easy. They'll just say, like, here's the lecture video, and you click the link, and it'll take you straight to that video. They also put in the different PowerPoints that they use. Some of my professors, they've even in Blackboard, they've kind of organized everything. So there's just the content folder that I have to go to, and that's where all of my assignments are. I don't have to search around for everything. And I also have the professors, they send us emails, sometimes multiple times a week, saying, hey, this is what's due. This is when it's due. Make sure you get it done. So they've definitely made it very easy for us.
Before we answer any more questions, make sure that y'all are dropping your emails in the chat if you want to be entered for a chance to win a $40 application fee waiver. That can be applied toward your application in the spring, in the summer, in the fall. Just whenever you're ready to apply, you'll get that fee waiver. So make sure that you drop your email in the chat for a chance to win that. Meredith, you want to go ahead?
Yes. Okay, so next question is regarding class sizes. The classes, large, small, could y'all kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so like I said, I take mainly face-to-face classes, and it, I guess, would depend on your graduate program. But my program, most class sizes are anywhere from like 7 to 10 students. So they're not very big at all, which I love, especially on the graduate level, because it is more focused. You have more time to talk, to discuss. It's not just sitting there listening to a lecture. We really do sit there and discuss things and read articles and go over that. And so the class sizes I think, are a great size. It's enough people to have a good conversation, but not too many that you feel like you're overlooked. So face-to-face class sizes are about 7 to 10 in the Student Affairs Administration Department.
I found that in the more maybe heavy or like detailed classes, that the course size is kind of capped at 10. In the classes that are really more part of like your core, not your electives, your core masters, I think the biggest class size that I've had has been like 18 to 20, so still small. Even though it's an online course, it's not just packed full of students in there. So.
Okay, so we've got one more follow-up question. Y'all were speaking earlier about logging into Blackboard and your ATU email address. And so she's asking, do you receive a school email address? So y'all can kind of allude or talk about that.
Yes, so you do receive a school email. Mine carried over from undergrad, so I just carried it over. But yes, you do receive a school email, and your tech credentials log you into every tech website. So Blackboard, OneTech, your email. You don't have to remember a ton of passwords. They all connect to the same.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, if you're a current ATU student, your email will carry over like Joellen said. But if you are new, once you're admitted, at the very bottom of your admission letter, you'll get your OneTech information and directions on how to set that up. And then once you do set that up, that's, like Joellen said, that'll be your access to your OneTech account, Blackboard, your email, everything all in one place. So yeah, you'll get that with your admissions letter.
All right. So another follow-up question. I'm loving this engagement. Thanks, guys. So in the online courses, do you have access to the other students? So y'all kind of mentioned how you can not meet, but talk with your other students. Will you kind of go into that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. And almost, I would say in most of my classes, at some point in the semester, we have discussions, whether it's, trading observations or working together on a project. We do, and you know each other, and once you're in your program, and it has those core requirements, you see the same people in those classes, whether you don't see them physically, you see them in those classes. I just got an email last week from a guy who's in one of my classes, and he's taking a different course and was looking for current teachers to interview about how, learning about a different culture affects your teaching style. And so I thought that was neat that even though we hadn't talked physically, we were still collaborating on something.
What I'd like to add to that is within Blackboard, there's a way for you to email specific students in the class as well as your professor. So even if you don't know them personally, there's still an easy way to get in contact with each other. And that's definitely helpful because then you can also send out a mass email to everyone in class if you have questions and need help.
Okay, I'm going to get one more question in. Oh, no, two more. So one just popped up. So on average, how many hours a week is needed? And obviously that's going to vary per program. So
the first semester that I enrolled, I took 3 courses. And so that's considered full-time for a master's program, 9 hours. And I would say it was about 4 hours a week. So this fall, I knew I would have more things going on with my kids. So I would say I have maybe 2 hours a week, 2 to 3 hours a week for 2 classes.
Yeah, so I also took full-time hours, I think every single semester. And then I took 2 courses in the summer, one in summer 1 and one in summer 2. So I've taken courses this whole time, and I agree with the time frame of how much extra time is needed outside of class. In grad school, it's a lot of papers and projects and that kind of stuff. Whereas in undergrad, it was a lot of studying for tests and a lot of outside involvement. And I really think in grad school because it's more focused and you're really only working on some papers and projects. It's a lot easier to get those done, especially if you do have face-to-face courses. You're in there for 3 hours a week, and it's just once a week for 3 hours. And so you really get to hash out a lot of stuff that you're going to talk about in your paper and stuff that you're doing in your project in class. And so it doesn't really, I mean, you are working outside of class. You can't just go to class and get it all done, but it's not near as time consuming as undergrad was, for sure.
Sydney, do you have anything to add before I go on?
Like Caitlin had said, it at least in my program, it kind of depends on the classes that you're in. I know for me, the part of my core requirement is an accounting class and different finances classes, and then management. The accounting and finances, those took me a little bit longer to study for because those are not my areas. I'm not that great in those. So I definitely had to take more time to read through the textbooks and make sure that I'm understanding the concepts and putting it into the homework. Whereas with more of my classes that are dealing with my VDA, I do read through the textbooks. There's theory that you have to look at, but the assignments and everything are not as, I would say, difficult for me because that's what I've been doing for the past few years. So.
Okay, last question before Caitlin wraps up for us, and she will probably answer most of this question, but will you tell us a little bit about the funding opportunities? Because I know there's some new ones, there's difference, everyone is different. So kind of give us an idea on that.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one thing in graduate school is that, there are funding opportunities out there. And so don't think that there's not. Sometimes you do have to look. You might have to look outside of tech for those opportunities. But there definitely are ways out there to fund your graduate education. One thing that's great at tech is that we have a lot of graduate assistantship opportunities, where you will work for a department on campus, either academic or non-academic. And, they'll pay for your tuition and you'll get a stipend. And so those are really great opportunities if you're interested in that. Within the graduate college, they have really, what's the word I'm trying to use? Plentiful, I would say, research and professional development grants. So, once you are admitted and you're wanting to do some kind of research or do professional development, such as go to conferences and present that research or anything like that, there's ways to do that, outside of just paying for your tuition, really building your resume and your experiences within the graduate college. Within Arkansas Tech, there's several foundation scholarships that are housed over in our foundation office that are available to grad students, especially with our teachers that are currently Arkansas Tech teachers that want to come back to school to get another degree. There's definitely grants and scholarships and tuition remission available for those teachers. And one thing that I'm super excited about to announce is that next fall, we're rolling out a tuition waiver program, pending board approval. Let me throw that out there, pending board approval. But for everyone who applies by that March 1st priority deadline, they'll be eligible to receive a $500 tuition waiver for that fall semester, as long as they're enrolled full-time and they don't receive a grad assistantship. For those students who want to be enrolled full-time, who aren't interested in a graduate assistantship or, don't receive one, that is an opportunity to help kind of combat, that tuition that first semester. And so we're really excited about that, hoping to roll out some more information about that soon. We're going to drop the funding page on our ATU Grad College website. So that way, all the links to all of those funding opportunities are there. Make sure you check those out. The sooner you start, looking for ways to fund your degree, the better. A lot of those, there are deadlines and things like that. But of course, there are, direct loans that are available to grad students through our financial aid office if that's something that you need as well. So I don't think we had any more questions. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. So make sure that if you are still with us, that you do drop your email in the chat to receive an application fee waiver. We're going to draw for that here in a second. And so, of course, I just want to remind everyone that I am here. I'm available to answer any questions. All of our panelists are our graduate ambassadors for Arkansas Tech. You can go and find them on our website as well with their information if you're interested in one of the programs that they're specifically in, or you're just maybe an online student and you want to connect with someone and just ask a few more questions about their experiences with virtual learning and things like that. Of course, you have my information. Know that we're still accepting applications for the spring semester. And of course, the summer and fall, if you're ready to get started, we're here to help you. Our application's online. It's pretty easy to manage. You can upload all of your things there. If you're a current tech student, we can help get some of those files and things that you already have with us here at Tech. I think that's everything that I have for y'all. That format you can, but be sure to give us your email so we can draw for that here in a second. But if there's not anything else, I'll let Meredith go ahead and draw for that.
Okay, so I just drew, and so we used a random number generator, and so number one. So number one is Latasha Morris. So Latasha, you have won our fee waiver. Congratulations!
Great.
So Caitlin will reach out via email to kind of set that up,
to get that going for you. So how exciting. So that's all that we have. We're going to record this. This is being recorded, and we're going to put this on our website by the end of the week. So that way, if you want to watch it, you didn't catch the beginning, it's going to be on our Facebook page, of course, but you can definitely watch that on our website too on Friday. So if you have any more questions, please reach out. I'm here. Our panelists are here. If you have any questions that we can help you with. And I want to thank our panelists again for taking the time today to meet with us. They are students, and they volunteer to help us out, and they're really supportive. That's one great thing about here at Tech, is that these students are here if you do have questions and want to reach out to them too. So make sure that you do that. But thank you guys, and have a good day.